second workshop, right? Well, excuse me, this is not a workshop, this is what is it again? It's supposed to be a happy hour, right? But y'all gonna get some workshop treatment. Now, you guys are all first-time home buyers, right? And like buying a home is like the most biggest expense that most people make in their life. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody sitting over there is at least, nobody in this room is 35. Safe to say, right? Cool. So you guys are in the right place at the right time, getting the right information, because it's all about time and equity. You know what I'm saying? The younger you buy and the more time passes, the better position you're gonna be in 10 years from now, 15 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Because of equity, right? So, I'm trying to work this thing and my computer, so bear with me, y'all, okay? Renting. Y'all got calculators on your phone. All right, get out the calculator. All right, so we said the average rent in this room is $1,000 a month, right? How long have you guys been renting? How long you been renting? About 5 years. So 12,000 times 5 is how much? $60,000. That's outside of other money that you don't know where you spent. So at least $60,000 has gone into paying somebody's mortgage, right? And that's what you guys are doing, renting. The fact that you're saving here, that you're in here and we're having this conversation, you're about to change your whole situation, right? What do you guys know about mortgages? You're aware of mortgages. You get a mortgage to, what is a mortgage?
A death loan.
Huh?
A loan you die paying.
A loan, not necessarily. Your definition don't have to be perfect. What's a mortgage? Right. Right. A mortgage is a note. It's a legal contract between you and the lender, basically saying that we're going to lend you money to buy this home, and we're going to charge you this amount of money for loaning you the money, and you're going to pay us back over this amount of time. That's what basically a mortgage is. All right. Equity. Does anyone know what equity is in relation to real estate?
The percentage that you're entitled to, like your percent that you paid off.
Well, what do you think equity is? No problem. You got a good idea, my friend. Agree? Smart. All right, equity is the difference between the purchase price and the appreciation of the property. So if you're on the same page, I'm saying it, and I sound slick saying it probably, but it's what you buy it for and what it's worth today. What you bought it for yesterday, what it's worth today. The increase in value is called equity. Equity is profit if you decide to sell. Equity is money in your pocket if you decide to cash out. Cashing out is a refinance. You ever heard the term refinance before? That's different things that people could do if they need to get liquid to buy more property or to pay off debt. So if you bought a property for about $100,000 and 5 years from now, it's worth $175,000, you got $75,000 in equity. So with that $75,000, you can buy another property or you can go buy a Benz. Don't buy a Benz. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. Now, you guys are thinking about buying properties, right? You're going to need 2 years tax return, which everybody in this room should have, right? Credit score. Now, how many people think what do you consider good credit, number-wise? Okay, 600 and up. All right, 590 maybe. You can get a mortgage with a 590 FICO score. Like, a lot of people say that they don't want to buy a house, they got to take care of their credit, they got to do this, they got to maybe save some money and so forth and everything like that. You don't have to have perfect credit to buy a house, right? Now, will you pay more than a person with good credit? Yes. You'll have a higher interest rate, right? But you don't necessarily need good credit to buy a house. Now, some people say, well, once my credit is together, then I'll go purchase a house. You gotta sit back and think of that scenario, right? Let's say you want to buy a multifamily house and you got a 590 FICO score, right? That means you're gonna pay more to borrow money than this guy with a 700 FICO score. It might take you a year, 2 years to get ready. You don't know where you're gonna be 2 years from now. You can buy a multifamily, right, from the bank. Let's say a foreclosed property, right? And you buy a property for $100,000, but you have a 12% interest rate. Now remember, you got bad credit, right? You buy that property, that $100,000 property, and you hold on to it for about another 2 years, right? 2 to 3 years, you do some paint work on it and everything like that, and it shoots up in value $50,000, $60,000. Your bad credit, it could have been $15,000 keeping your credit down. You just increased or made over the course of 2 years an additional $45,000 because you're going to take 60 and pay off your debt. Make sense? Right? So I'm saying that to say, in terms of credit score, don't think that your credit score can eliminate you from purchasing a property. Down payment. You were talking about saving up money. How much does it cost to buy a house? A $200,000 house. How much you think you got to put down? Just guess. No, guess. This is going to get your brain thinking.
Like 20%, but like the FHA is like, I think like 3 maybe?
3.5. 3.5%. Everybody in this room is a first-time home buyer, right? So down payment would be 3.5% if you guys decide to go FHA. So 3.5% on 200,000 is about $7,000. Calculators, right? It's going to be about $7,000 on a $200,000 property, right? So when you purchase a property, there are certain things that people, it's going to be $7,000 down. That's just their down payment. After you find your property, you go through the inspection process, now it's time to close, you have to pay closing costs. You ever heard of that term, closing costs? Closing costs, rule of thumb, is between 3 and 6% of your total purchase price. So that could be $6,000 on top of your 7. So that's roughly around $14,000, right? To close on a $200,000 property, right? Now, the good thing about down payment and being first-time home buyers is that the banks and nonprofit organizations, they're attacking, or I don't want to use the word attacking, but they're targeting specific demographics. You know, minorities, females, they're targeting specific areas, and they're giving loans and they're giving down payment assistance. So right now, we do business with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, TD Bank, and another bank. And what they have is a program called LIFT, right? It's called the LIFT program. They give you $20,000 towards buying a house, right? So now you think about that down payment that I was telling you about before. Now that you would have to come up with, like if you got money saved up, you might be able to just keep your money and utilize this money to make your down payment, you know? So in terms of money being a factor, I gotta save, no, there are other options. So you, do save, but you have options to purchase a house, all right? So you don't necessarily have to have all your money out there to make this thing happen, all right? Where am I at? I was talking, my friend, I'm so sorry, I keep asking you your name again.
Rhonda.
Rhonda, all right, one family or multifamily? We were talking about that just now, or was it you?
Yeah, both of us did.
Right. It all depends, like what type of property to buy, all depends on what your goals are. You know, like you said, you had little kids that you want to have backyard and so forth and everything like that. A one family home, like your strategy, like for you, I would sit down with you one-on-one and I would want to know exactly what your long-term strategy is, because you might necessarily at the end, you might have an end game where you want to end up in a one family, but that one family might not be today. That one family could be 3 years from now. You know what I'm saying? But there's a strategy to get into your one family, because the quicker you own, the better it is for you. You know, where that multifamily strategy comes into play. You know what I'm saying? There's scenarios where I've set people up, like even Dre. I've set people up where, let's say, like you're in Newark, right? I will put you in a situation where you jump into a multifamily, real cheap bank-owned property, right? Hold on to that for 2 years, pay your bills, live rent-free. So whatever it is you're spending right now on rent, let your tenants pay the mortgage. So you put your check, pay for daycare, pay for your car, and then whatever it is, just save. What happens is over the course of 3 years, with your tenants paying your mortgage and your property appreciating, you leverage that multifamily, leverage the multifamily, and then purchase your one family. The multifamily could pay 60% of the mortgage on your one family. Plus, depending on how you buy your one family, let's say we get a foreclosed property or a bank-owned property, you could be in a situation where this property got, let's say after you purchase this property, you have $40,000 left in this property. If you buy the one family from the bank and fix it up a little bit, you're probably gonna live there, you know, maybe 10 years, because you got a backyard, you want the kid, you don't want to move the kids around, they're gonna be in school. You hold on to this for like 10 years. This is gonna increase over the course of 10 years too, right? So this could go from $40,000 in equity to $70,000 in equity. Your one family, if you purchase it, hold it for 10 years, you're gonna make at least another $60,000. So now you got over $100,000 liquid that you could touch, right? That's a game plan, right? And what I'm describing to you, it's already, like I'm doing that with him right now. Fact. Location. I ain't even gotta explain that. You know, when you go into a neighborhood, you're like, I can't live here. You know, if ever you feel like that, don't buy in that neighborhood, because in my opinion, you shouldn't buy in that neighborhood, because for one, getting a tenant that might, if you don't want to live there, what type of tenant would want to live? You know, like if you go in a neighborhood, you see somebody selling drugs, you see stuff happening, you know, you're about to borrow money. I wouldn't borrow money and buy in an area where I feel uncomfortable, you know? So location is important. And like, once you get qualified, it's like something, you're gonna feel like, I just wanna buy a house. You're gonna get that feeling once you get the paper in your hand, you're like, let's go and, you know, shoot the shot at anything. Just take your time, you know? All you gotta do is pay your bills on time and keep your ears and eyes open. Because sometimes I've gotten deals via word of mouth. Like you might have a friend that their grandmother, you know, she might be passing away or she might be retiring. The house been paid off since 1987. They already made their money and they could sell you a property under the market. So it don't necessarily have to be a bank-owned property. Like I sold a property in Irvington about 7 years ago for $27,000. One family house on Maple Avenue in Irvington. Nobody would believe it, you know, and that was 7 years. That's in the 2000s, we did that, you know. So that is house hunting 101. Guess what? we're done. You got my card. Yeah. Well, I'm done. All right. Easy Keys Real Estate. You guys know. Have you guys been on the website? When you get a chance, jump on the website, see who we are and what we do. I primarily do a lot of rentals, but we're expanding on our sales part as far as working with first-time home buyers. When you work, as you guys decide to look for a property, whether you work with us or you find a Century 21 or a Remax Realtor, you want to make sure that they know the neighborhoods, because sometimes you'll speak with a realtor and you'll tell them what you're looking for, and they'll tell you, meet me at 66 Munn Avenue, and then you get there and you're like, why would you bring me here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would not live here. So you want to make sure that whoever it is that's working for you is not just showing you anything. They're not wasting your time, because a lot of times you're going to take either time off work or you're going to rush from work to meet some people at a property, and eventually it'll get frustrating. If you see that the realtor is not understanding where you're coming from in terms of where you want to live or the type of environment you want to live in, give me a call.